Major sporting events often attract fans from all around the world, and effectively presenting event highlights to the global audience is a big challenge for broadcasters. Alibaba Cloud Media Services, as known as Apsara Video, offers a family of services including video acquisition, editing, uploading, transcoding, storage, media management, distribution, and playback for all types of audio and video files. Additionally, it provides a variety of audio-video solutions for live and on-demand streaming, media processing, video AI, and real-time video communication. It helps solve challenges with ease. Would you believe that highlights of football games can be completely generated by video AI on the cloud? Thanks to its sophisticated deep learning capabilities, video AI quickly learns all things related to football by digesting a high volume of data and instantly teaches itself to become a football fan. In the process of learning, video AI tags highlights and movements, such as a team's ball possession, players' positions, and the number of fouls and goals. It also recognizes keywords mentioned during the broadcast. For further synthesis of audio and video features, when an exciting moment happens, video AI immediately combines the results of various AI analysis on both the video and the audio, capturing the exact moments of shots on goal, goals, saves, fouls, passes, and other highlights. Video AI leverages multidimensional data for cross-fact-checking and also combines event backtracking and prediction algorithms, which helps further smoothen information processing. To create highlight reels of exciting game-time moments to ensure real-time results, Alibaba Cloud Media Services directly applies the AI processing on live streams. First, it utilizes real-time clipping to break down the live streams for multimodal analysis. Then, it uses event backtracking and prediction to quickly aggregate the captured highlights and generates high-quality reels with necessary adjustments. The powerful media processing capabilities generate both game highlights and athlete highlights in near real time. When video production is completed and is ready to be distributed, Alibaba Cloud Media Services provides a complete media solution. The end-to-end solution is capable of distributing live and on-demand videos with high quality, high reliability, high scalability, and low latency by leveraging the patented narrowband HD technology, which enhances frame rate and optimizes other video techniques. It further improves the image quality and the overall viewing experiences while reducing the video bitrate to save your distribution cost. As for scalability, with real-time data feedback, intelligent live CDN scheduling, and other mechanisms, Apsara Video helps tackle the challenges of tens of millions of concurrent users and the ever-growing video business. In an era of worldwide video streaming with multiple cutting-edge video technologies, Alibaba Cloud Media Services, as known as Apsara Video, dives into practical business scenarios and provides you with comprehensive and effective solutions. Apsara Video, more than just watching.
Hey, welcome back. So today we're continuing our webinar series on next level digital media with Alibaba Cloud. I'm Jeremy. This is my colleague Bin from our CDN and digital media department. And today we're going to talk about some real customer cases that we have.
Right.
So we'll get started with Youku. We talked about Youku a little bit last time because Youku was responsible for the World Cup online broadcast in China. Just to introduce briefly what Youku is, it's a short video and live streaming platform. It's one of the biggest video platforms in China. They are an Alibaba Cloud user. And their business model is a little bit like YouTube. So there's ad-supported and subscription services available.
And to clarify, Youku is also part of Alibaba Group.
Yes, they're actually a partner of Alibaba Group. And so they're using both our base services like MPS and CDN, as well as the more advanced AI services like the content auditing service. So for this, I'll actually ask Bin to introduce it.
Yeah, so remember last time we introduced the VOD SaaS service? Youku is actually the prototype for the VOD services because when we are building the VOD services, the Youku has been around for many years, so we built the VOD service based on that. And generally, for Youku, it's it can support all kinds of video imports, all right? And they will upload to OSS, and the MPS service, media processing service, will process all these videos and send notifications through our notification service we call MNS, and it can also interact with Youku's application servers located on our ECS servers. And then all these files, processed video files, will be distributed through our global distribution CDN and to all kinds of different platforms. So this is actually very similar to what we have, while they have much, much more complex application logics in their ECS clusters. So that's for their VOD and also for their live. So this is actually what we have for a more detailed view of the live streaming, particularly for the 2018 World Cup. So Jeremy, you remember that during the World Cup, certain American live streaming applications, they have been down for 40 minutes. So that have never happened during all the games on Youku. So the reason that we can achieve that is actually Youku, they can, for a single live stream, they can have multiple live sources. If one goes down, all the others will come up automatically, or you can manually switch to a different streams. So also, I mentioned the narrowband HD in our previous webinar, and this narrowband HD has been used on all the World Cup games. It can achieve the same kind of quality for 265 in the same bit rate, but we can use the 264 codec. And for high motion sports events, it's good to have very high frame rate. And also, this service can support frame rate up conversion to convert traditional 25 frame to 55 frame. And then all this live stream is distributed again using our global content distributed networks to various devices in China. Yeah.
So all of these different codecs, these get transcoded in real time or close to real time during the live stream. Yeah,
absolutely. They are converted to the end format in real time, so you don't have, so it can support the live operation. Yeah, absolutely. So.
All right, so let's move on to another customer case. So CCTV is basically the national broadcaster for all of China, and CCTV5 has a mobile broadcast app. They've actually built that app using our service. They rely on both our fundamental infrastructure services and also Live and CDN to make sure that their broadcasts from their app are smooth and clean within China. Actually, just to talk a little bit about that, so inside of China, if you're doing any kind of online broadcasting, an issue you have to be aware of is that not all of the telecom companies are well connected with each other. If you're a network guy from the US or another country, you're used to telecoms like Comcast or Verizon having lots of peering points, being well connected. But Chinese telecoms don't really do that. So having CDN points of presence inside the multiple Chinese telecom companies is very important to reach your viewers. And that's something we have,
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of Alibaba Cloud in China,
Yeah. So actually, I'll ask Bin to talk about this again because he's the expert here.
So one of the highlights of for the services used by CCTV5 from Alibaba Cloud is the AI service. So previously, you know, if you want to generate a game highlights after the photo game, you need a very experienced editor and gather all the video and audios materials and do it through hours of hard work, and you have to use very complex like equipment and software. So using our AI services, we can actually abandon all those kind of heavy lifting. We can directly ingest the live stream from during the game, and all this goes through very complex processing of our AI service. I will not go to too much detail here. So anyway, so the end result will be the AI service will categorize all the things in the game, and for example, like goals, shots on goals, and fouls like red, yellow cards, and some like special events. Then it will merge, synthesize all these kind of events to generate highlight reels in like a few minutes, and it will instantly upload to the website. So the time taken could be reduced from hours to like minutes. So user can watch this just after a few minutes after the game.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's excellent. So that's the broadcast streaming case, but of course that's not the only type of online live streaming that there is. Right. Huya is a Chinese live streaming company that's a little bit like Twitch. Yeah. So they have a slightly different scenario. Yeah. Instead of 1 or 2 primary sources or cameras like you would have for a broadcast like the World Cup, they have hundreds of thousands of people streaming on their platform in real time. Yeah. So their needs are a little bit different, but through live and our CDN, as well as our transcoding service, we're able to meet their needs as well. Even though they need to transcode hundreds of thousands of streams at once, that's also something we can support. So yeah, that's an advantage of the cloud, is that kind of flexibility. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about their architecture. Yeah. So the difference between like a traditional like a broadcasting service to like this we call internet streaming, live streaming systems, is that they support much more live channels. The number for Huya sometimes goes to like 100,000 concurrent channels, and many of them have like a couple of thousands. Some like a popular one will go to several millions, but there's multiple sessions and a lot of viewers concurrently. So for the system needs to have a very large transcoding farm comparing to like the World Cup. We just need less than 100 this kind of encoders there. So we have a very large transcoding farm in our cloud. So all these sessions could be transcoded in real time into different kind of formats. And on the upload side, many of these personal broadcasters, they don't have very good network connections. They use their phones like a 4G network to upload. And all this jittering network, we also have a very good algorithm to help smooth all these problems. And then the video is distributed to also a lot of viewers with less than like 5 seconds latencies. Yeah. So I'm curious. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we don't have time to answer this. Yeah. It's pretty technical, but right. I'm wondering. One of the things about a case like Youku is that when they're streaming a big event, right. they have a single primary video source, which means they can right. control what the bitrate is going to be, what the aspect ratio will be of the incoming video. But here you have different types of phones with different cameras, different operating systems. How does the service handle that? Yeah, so actually the service, we have already built a lot of transcoding templates and processing workflows so that the customers can directly use these templates. If the customer, they want to have their custom build template, we can also support that. And so it's very flexible. We have a lot of different kinds of transcoding running simultaneous on this cluster. Yeah. So definitely that's something that we can offer to different kinds of customers. Okay, this is my favorite case, actually. So both of us, of course, work at Alibaba Cloud, and DingTalk is our day. We spend pretty much the whole day responding to DingTalk messages. This is our internal productivity app. Right. You can think of it as being sort of like Slack or something like that. It allows you to send and receive documents, form group chats with your colleagues, and recently it got some new features, including the ability to do like live broadcast training sessions, and very, very recently, I think just a few weeks ago, they added the ability to do basically RTC. So you can have group meetings inside of this app. It's very convenient. I've actually used the live video feature before myself to give internal training, so it is very handy. And that is, of course, because DingTalk is an Alibaba Group partner, built on top of our platform.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about their RTC architecture.
So you see here we have this real-time communication network distributed globally, not only in China but also in like America and Europe, many other locations. So all the users will be connected through this real-time communication network, and they can do real-time video and audio communication. So and also this real-time communication network is connected to our live services. And it can support the like webinar that Jeremy mentioned through this service to broadcast to thousands of viewers. So the RTC can support up to 30 concurrent users, while the live service can scale as all the live services that we mentioned previously. And it can also store all the recordings of the live session to OSS, so you can put it into a replay or something and view it later. So that's basically what DingTalk offers.
Yes, and actually, this is one of my favorite things about cloud in general, is that you can mix and match, sort of like Legos.
Absolutely.
And so here, you can have RTC service set up so that you can have a situation where you have people engaging with each other in real time. And then you can also offload that stream to the live service and then have viewers who aren't interacting with the WebRTC session also able to watch it. So you can have a key meeting amongst 20 or 30 people that the entire company can watch. You know, 5,000 to 6,000 people can watch that stream. So that ability to mix things together is really very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
slide.
the power of the cloud service.
Yes. Okay, so now we'll get a little bit out of the China market and more into international. So TV5 is a broadcaster in the Philippines. They are, I think, the third rated channel in the Philippines, essentially. They do radio and TV broadcasts. They produce some of their own content. They have direct-to-home over satellite. So they have a pretty diverse mix of distribution channels. One of the areas that they had difficulty with was video on demand, web distribution of video. And a key thing for them being in the Philippines was that there's not a lot of local cloud presence there from some of the other big vendors. There aren't data centers nearby that they can use if they wanted to use cloud. So that's one of the reasons they came to us. So this time I'll talk a little bit about the architecture. So let's take a look at that. So their architecture is actually fairly standard web application architecture. There's a web layer, application layer, and a database layer in their application. This runs on our standard ICE services, so server load balancer, ECS, and also RDS, our database service. And they do that in the Hong Kong region because it's the geographically closest region. Or it was, actually. Now we have several new regions in Malaysia and Indonesia that they could use. And one of the key things about this as compared to their old architecture is that they had built it themselves. And so it had single points of failure, you know, because it's very expensive to buy enough equipment to make everything redundant. It wasn't very flexible. It couldn't scale out when they had increases in demand for a popular episode of one of their shows. And this architecture allows them to have some scale out at the web and application layers, and also some I guess you could do some read splitting here because they have a primary and secondary RDS. And the really key thing, of course, is the CDN, like we talked about. Maybe you can talk about that.
Actually, you can see for this customer, say TV5, they mostly migrate their offline operation to the public cloud operation by building on the ICE services. But once they are in the public cloud, we can actually, they can easily integrate our PaaS service and also SaaS service. And for example, they use the CDN here, which connect to like OSS for like a content distribution. This definitely can connect to other like media services that we mentioned. And the CDN we are offering could offer them very good file distribution, not only in their origin, their particular region, but also globally.
So this is just a little bit of overview of some of the advantages they got from moving to the cloud. So I won't spend a lot of time on this, but essentially the key things here are cost, scalability, and availability.
Right.
And you hear those a lot whenever people bring up the cloud, because they're able to save some operations and maintenance costs by moving to the cloud. They can now afford to have this active architecture where all of the key infrastructure has been duplicated so that if there's a failure of, say, an ECS instance in the web layer, it can be replaced automatically through self-healing. And because of the server load balancer health checks, the users don't even need to know. It continues working as though nothing went wrong. And also, like you said, there's also some additional capabilities like the ability to take advantage of the CDN to do global distribution, which you just can't do if you're building your own infrastructure. You can't afford to build in every country you want to serve.
Absolutely, yeah.
And let's do Rings TV. This one is a Singaporean broadcast customer, but they're not like TV5 in the Philippines. They're not a traditional broadcaster. They're basically a personal live streaming app. So it's phone to phone or phone to computer. Right. So essentially you can download their app, set up an account, and then just start streaming. You can invite people to watch you live. And of course, in order to do that, they have some fairly complex needs because they're pulling streams from a mobile device. They need to get uploaded and transcoded and then sent back down to a variety of viewers. Could be TV boxes, could be computers, could be phones. So let's look at their architecture. So they have a couple of really difficult requirements to meet. All broadcasters on the internet do. It's essentially low latency is really key for live broadcasting. They have to have consistent throughput and quick buffering to make sure that the streams don't jitter, that there's no breakdowns, no stuttering while people are watching these streams. And of course, because this is personal streaming, they have a need to preserve the privacy and security of their users. So they need secured transmission as well. That's pretty key. You really only want your audience to be able to see your live stream, ideally. So let's look at the architecture they use to achieve that. So their architecture is a little bit complex because it spans 2 countries. And this is common for a lot of businesses in Southeast Asia, especially, is that they have some infrastructure in Singapore or Indonesia or other Southeast Asian countries, and then they also have a user base in China. And any kind of cross-border live streaming is difficult. For China, it's especially difficult. So what they really needed was a way where their Chinese users and their Singaporean users could both experience the same level of quality when using their platform. So if you have someone doing a stream from China, the users in Singapore will be able to watch that without any delay. If you have users in Singapore doing streaming, then the users in China should be able to watch that. The way they chose to go for simplicity was they use a third-party streaming engine, so Wowza, so this would run on top of ECS. And then the really key part of that architecture, which is something Alibaba is very good at, is we have a product called Express Connect. It's not a media product, but a lot of media customers use it. What Express Connect does is basically it allows you to set up the leased line. So you have some on-ramp location, a data center at a telecom in Singapore. We will give you rented, dedicated capacity over a physical line from that data center in Singapore to a data center in China, and then a connection from that data center into Alibaba Cloud. So with that product, we can essentially guarantee latency is low and packet losses is low.
Yeah, actually, the Express Connect is a very fundamental infrastructure that we have also integrated that with our content delivery network. The content delivery network can utilize Express connection to go back to the original server across the very long distances. And also we have integrated that Express Connect in our live streaming services. You can also take advantages that's mentioned by Jeremy previously.
Is that something you can configure yourself as a user, or do you need backend support for that?
For now, this you can file tickets for our support to add this, but afterwards we will maybe open that up to the public to use that.
Great. All right. So that's it for today. Thank you again for joining our stream. If you didn't see the first webinar, please go back and watch that. We go into a lot more depth about what the products can do. And actually, before we wrap up, there's one thing I wanted to mention was you are not limited to what has been shown here. You can get much more creative. We're always building new services. We're always deploying new stuff, almost every week. So just to give an example of something I haven't seen done, but you could do, you could, for instance, take the video AI services for creating video highlights, and you could generate 2 or 3 different highlight reels. And if you have a short video service like a video on demand website or application, you could basically A/B test. So you could figure out which one of the highlight reels is more interesting to your users. Maybe you have one that focuses on penalties because people love to get mad about sports. Maybe you have one that focuses on goals. You can put them both up. You could collect the data about which one gets more click-throughs, more views using our API. And then you could feed that into a model to decide which one to make the top result in your app or on your site. And then you can improve your ad revenue and your viewership because you can also insert ads into your video on demand content using our service.
That's amazing ideas. You should go to a startup someday
to
using our services.
But
one thing I also want to mention that if you want to build that using a traditional way, it will be really hard. But using our service, you only pay as you go, and there's a very minimum startup. So some startup, if you trying some ideas Jeremy mentioned, you can look into our service offerings. So say if you have some ideas how to utilize all these powerful features.
So you should expect to get an email from us shortly after the webinar.
Thanks Bing and Jeremy for the introduction. And it's me again, Richard Fu. I'm the solution architect for media solutions of Alibaba Cloud. I'll be here to answering your questions during our Q&A session. So let's take a look at the questions. Okay, I see that quite a lot of people are curious about our narrowband HD. So what are the benefits of narrowband HD over other technologies? Actually, the narrowband HD is kind of the transcoding technology, and it can be used in both the live streaming transcoding and also VOD transcoding. And it has 2 benefits. The users can choose during the configuration that it can choose to improve the quality of the videos. And by using this, that from the users, that he can tell that from the video that it gets more clear, that the quality of the video is improved. And the second option that for the user to choose is to cut down the size of the video without affecting the quality. It means that the video may look quite similar as the original one, but the file size of the media could be 50% or 40% lower than the original ones. This can save the storage of the videos. Actually, that in the user cases that Bing and Jeremy just introduced, the Youku, which is the YouTube in China, they're using this narrowband HD transcoding for almost all of their videos in their platform. And for quite a few old videos in Youku, that they use narrowband HD to improve the quality. And for the rest, most of the videos, they use this transcoding technology to make the video files smaller. So it can save the cost of the storage, and for the users, it also just they need smaller bandwidth to watch the videos, which makes it more fluent. And for Youku, that to use this narrowband HD, we almost help them to save hundreds of millions of RMB every year, just because the file size of the video gets smaller, and also the bandwidth of the CDN usage for the users are also smaller. Okay, let's look at the second question. I see that quite a lot of people are interested in the video AI. So this question: how does video AI work for different sports scenarios? Yes. So in the user case that we just introduced with CCTV5 for the World Cup, is the model of this video AI is used for the football games. So if we want to use this video AI for different sports or different other scenarios for individuals, that yes, you need to do the modeling first. And we also support the customization of this video AI modeling. And you can also add the text that you want to add for this video. So, and after the modeling, that this video AI can tell the actions from the videos and add the tagging automatically. And after that, by using this tagging, it can generate the highlights automatically. So that's thing that you do need some customization. And if you want to take a try, that you can apply that from our portal. And if you want to know more technical details, you can ask for help from the portal to contact our pre-sales or solutions for the more detailed technology solutions to how to customize it. Okay, I think that is it for today. Many thanks for listening and providing your questions. Please note that a recording of this webinar will be made available tomorrow. Thanks again and have a great day.